Hi, and welcome to part 2 of the Brick House Bones Foundations program, where we're going over the foundational exercises where each video builds upon the next one to teach you the right way to begin exercise safely to protect your body from falls and fractures. So we're building on video 1, or the part 1 of this series, where we started some introductory movements for posture and balance, and we're adding to that today. So some foundational movements are going to include a squat and a hinge. We're going to add a pulling motion as well as a pushing motion, all part of this balanced, evidence-based approach to protecting ourselves. We're adding in a little more dynamic balance as well as part of our fall prevention program, and continuing with some excellent progressions on postural exercises so that we can be tall and confident in everything that we do. Okay, what you need today is your band. I warned you in part 1 we'd need these, so you need to grab your exercise band. We will be starting in a chair. If you have a yoga block, or something, it could even be a tissue box or a shoe. We may add a version where you're stepping over an obstacle if that's in your wheelhouse of things to do. If it's not, don't worry, you can just step over an imaginary line. But we're adding some stepping over exercises to help challenge our dynamic balance a little bit better. So that's what we need today. We'll start out sitting. We'll do some standing. We're going to learn the correct way to do a hip hinge technique. This is very important foundational exercise. And then we will spend some time both on our stomachs, which you can do on your bed if you need to, and we'll also be spending time on our backs, which you can do on your bed if you need to. This is all part of bone fit training, Brick House Bones training. This is the targeted evidence-based exercise that we know is beneficial for us. All right, so let's get started in a seated position. Remember from part 1, our perch posture. So tucking feet up underneath us, and then we're going to lift the heart so that we can be in a little bit better position here for our spine. And we're going to start by bending the elbows, palms up, and then reaching the thumbs back. And as we reach those thumbs back, lift the heart and squeeze the wings behind us. Good. Reach and release. Reach, working on opening up the shoulders, opening up the front body, strengthening the shoulder stabilizers, the rotator cuff. Let's do 2 more. Good. Now, you should have done part 1 video 4 times before starting this part 2 video. Of course, you can watch the video, but you should have done it at least 4 times to get those foundational movements in before starting part 2. And I would love for you to do this video of part 2 4 times before progressing on to part 3. You can add in that bonus video of safety and how to move smarter at any point that you wish. All right, setting up here nice and tall, we're going for a reach. So reaching one arm up to the ceiling. Notice how I lift up through the chest as I reach, and then let the elbow come back down. Reach. We did this in part 1. We're just doing 1 time each side. Good. Now we're going to reach the arms out forward and come out into the T position and relax. Reaching back. Notice the thumbs or palms are up, thumbs are reaching back, squeezing the wings together, and then bring them back forward. Squeeze and relax. So last week we did W arms. This video we do T arms. We will be adding Y arms, and then you'll have 3 positions that are excellent postural exercises. Good, excellent. So there's our warm up and our shoulders working our beginning posture. And now we're going to move to our sit to stand again. Yes, we did this in the last video. This is a foundational movement, and we should continue to work on our squatting, especially if we're just doing body weight squats. We want to build strength in this area. So squatting is a foundational movement for bone health programs. So use your arms if you need to, but if you can do it with no arms. And the other thing you can do, if squatting's a little difficult to get in and out of the chair, put a pillow or a cushion in the chair. Make it a little bit higher. just enough so that you can accomplish this without using your hands, and you'll really see your strength improve. All right, get in position, folks. We're going to do 10. Down and up. Notice how I'm bending at the hips, keeping the heart lifting. I angle my spine forward, but I'm not rounding at the upper back or shoulders. 4, 5, we're going for 10. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good job. I'm grabbing my band. We're going to loop it around the foot. So one leg is bent, the other leg is out straight, and I'm just looping that band around my foot. And then I wrap it around my hands any way that you can get it. These CLX bands have handles in them, so if you want to open up the area in the handle to do that, just be sure to get far enough down that you have enough of a little bit of resistance for you. That's why I wrap them, because then I can tell how much resistance I have. Lift the heart so the heart's up. Arms are straight up, and we're pulling the hands back by the ribs and squeezing the wings behind us, and release. So this is a banded row. We're doing a seated banded row. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Good job. Remember, 10. You stop anywhere you need to stop. If you can't do 10 with me and you need to stop at 6, stop at 6. That's okay. Modifying an activity is an act of self-care, and it's always encouraged that you modify as you need for your body. We're going to move on and do another set of 10 squats or 10 sit-to-stands. If you feel like that's too much for you today, then you just rest while we do our 10. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. This is a foundational movement. That's why we do it a lot. 4, 5, 6. If you have one bad knee, I say bad, I hate saying the word bad. 7, 8. You can move that foot slightly forward. 9, 10. If one of your knees is cranky, you can move that foot slightly forward as you do these, and that will take a little bit of pressure off of it. Just another tip. Okay, coming back down into our chair, grabbing our band again, and this time we're going to do a reach. And you can do this sitting or you can do this standing. So I'm going to anchor the band on my knee with one hand. My arm is extended, and I'm reaching up, just like we did in our warm-up reach, with the other hand. Reach, so we're strengthening the shoulder girdle, and the upper back. This is a posture exercise. There's 3. We're going for 3 more. 4, 5, 6. Yes, you can do this standing. You can also do that same exercise lying on your back, and you can do it up against the wall. So lots of variation for being able to do that if you need more support. Okay, sitting up tall in our perch posture. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1 more. 6. All right, let me show you the wall version of that. So if you want to do that up against the wall next time, you may. So up against the wall, hold your hand. So feet are close, upper back is against the wall, and chin is tucked back. Anchor the band down to your thigh and reach up, attempting to touch the wall with your thumb if you can. The wall can give you a nice little bit of support while you do that if that feels better for you. Okay, next up we have our hinging technique. We'll leave that there. A stick might be handy. If you have a cane or a broomstick, hit pause on the video, go grab that broomstick and bring it back. We're going to use that to do this correct hip hinge technique. So hinging means we hinge at the hips instead of rounding the back. And this is really critical that we get this. And sometimes you need feedback. You need to look in the mirror while you do it, or you need to have somebody video record you while you do it so that you can see if you're doing it correctly. You can get that instant feedback. The mirror provides a lot of feedback. So I teach this hands on the thighs, and I call these knee slides. So I'm going to reach my hips back, 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 back as I slide my hands just past my knees. Now notice I'm not rounded in the back. My shoulders are allowed to come forward as my hips go backwards. I'm not down in a squat position. My knees are unlocked, but my hips went back. I'm not rounded like this. That's the key. Your center light, your heart light needs to be shining forward, not down. Imagine if there was a flashlight in the center of your chest. If you're rounded like that, that flashlight is pointing to the floor, and we need it to point ahead of you where you're going. So think about that in that position of your middle back. So these knee slides are a way to practice hip hinging. And sometimes I practice them against the wall so that you know that you're reaching your hips back when you touch the wall instead of down like a squat. So I have a video, I'll link it below. The video is this a squat or a deadlift? To help you know the difference if you're hinging correctly. And here's how we use the stick that really gets it dialed in for you. So you put it behind your back, and then you put your hand in the small of your back with the palm facing out. Now, my goal here is to have my head touching, my upper back touching, and my hips touching the stick, right? If your head doesn't touch, don't worry too much about that, but keep your upper back and your hips touching the stick as much as possible. Get that head back there if you can. And now bend forward. So if you're doing it correctly, you will not lose contact with that stick, just like you see me doing here, because all of the bending is happening at my hip and none of the bending is happening in my spine. If you go to bend in this position and you come forward away from the stick, then you know that you haven't done it correctly. So put that stick in position, hold it against your upper back and your head, and practice reaching those hips back as you lower your hands forward. Once you have that motion down, then practice our knee slides. So let's do 10 knee slides. You can do them up against the wall. We'll get close to the wall here so we reach our hips for the wall. 1, 2, feet are hip width apart. 3, keep that heart light shining up. 4, 5, 6, 7. I would love to see what your hinge looks like. 8, 9, 10. Wonderful. So that's learning the correct hip hinge technique. Take your time, practice that. You can isolate that exercise out if you need to really build that good foundation. We want to be able to hinge anytime that we have to lift something. We want to be hinging at the hips, and that way we can get our proper deadlift anytime we need to lift, and we can strengthen our back and make it more resilient. It's a really, really powerful exercise. So we've done our squatting foundational movement. We did a reaching foundational movement. We're done a hinging foundational movement. And now we're going to go to a push. And we do this in preparation for being able to get off the floor, for having that strength to push through our upper extremities. And this is weight bearing through our wrists and forearms and upper arms. This is weight bearing through our arms. And I start with a wall push-up. Now, of course, if you're stronger and you want a more challenging, you could do a countertop push-up. If you want something stronger than that, the back of a chair, or you could do a knee push-up. But for everyone that's beginning, we can start with a wall push-up. I have my hands about shoulder height, maybe slightly lower, and I walk my feet back. The closer you are, the easier it is. The further away you go, the harder it is. So choose your distance based on being able to do 8 to 10 repetitions. We want the elbows to come down, not out. So down closer to the ribs, not out by the shoulders, okay? So adjust your hand height and adjust your distance based on that. We're letting the chest come forward to the wall, but we're keeping the body line straight. So it's not this bending at the waist. The hips need to come forward. We need to keep that straight line tight here and tight here in that straight body position. All right, enough talk. Are you ready? Lowering down. 1. Notice my heels can come up. 2, that's okay. 3, adjust your distance if you need to. 4, 5, 6. If this is too difficult, just hold this plank position the whole time we're doing push-ups. 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. This is also a plank. Just holding this position right here is a beginning plank and a beginning core strength exercise starting those planks. So that's really, really good movement to have in your wheelhouse. All right. Now we're going to work on the stepping exercise. And stepping is, we're going to target stepping over an obstacle. So we have 2 ways to do that, and you can choose which progression you want for your ability. Now you see this line that I have on my yoga mat. So we have the first progression is just to step over that line with both feet. And we'll do the same thing forward, over and back. Now, if we want to make that more challenging, then I put the yoga block in place and we practice having to really step up and over the obstacle. So I'm going to do the over the obstacle for the side. I'm going to do no obstacle for the front. You do either one that works best for you and your balance. Now, if you're really unstable and you need to have a chair beside you as you step forward and back, or a countertop, you can absolutely use support. Be smart. You know your body. You know your abilities. It's A-okay to use a chair for support if you need it, or a countertop. So we're going to start with the forward and back stepping. We're going to go 5 repetitions leading with each leg, starting with your left. So here we go. Forward and back. 2, 3, 4, 5. Other side. Over the obstacle. Make sure you don't touch the line. 3, 4, 5. Good. And now we're going to step to the side, up and over the obstacle. And we include movements moving side to side because falls that cause a fracture of the hip more often than not happen by a fall to the side. So it's really important that we train this specifically, this lateral stepping over an obstacle. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good job. All right, we're on track with our balance exercises. We are going to do one more balance exercise here. You can use your chair or your countertop to get set up. So we're trying to get in a narrow stance position, as in one foot in front of the other. Now, if you do that and you are way unstable, here's how we modify it. So if you can't put your foot right in front, put it just out slightly. I want you to still feel like you're working a little bit to maintain that position, but you can maintain it, even if you have to just take a small step like I did occasionally. So give yourself challenge, move it forward and towards the front, but enough separation so that you are able to hold that position for a little bit. Okay, so coming in here, one foot in front of the other, you have your hand on your countertop or your chair if you need it, and then if you're able, we're gonna let go, and we're gonna swing our arms. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Excellent. Step out. Let's put the other foot in the front. Here we go. Again, if you need to have it a tiny bit wider, you may. Let's be up nice and tall and swing. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Nice. All right, now we're making our way onto our stomachs. And take your time, get into position either on your bed or on the floor. Let's remember the right way to get down on the floor. Use your chair if you need to. Stepping back, hands in hands here. Okay. So in this position, you can have your hands here by your head, or you can have your hands up under your hips. Now the first thing I want you to do is press your pelvis into the mat. Just press it gently, your pelvic bone into the mat, and squeeze a little gently here through your glutes. And this is going to help protect your low back as we do this. So we do that pelvic press. Notice my head is down. I don't have my head cranking up, and I don't want you to have your head cranking up either. And I realize that you have to look at this video first. So I want you to watch it, and then I want you to do it. So head down, chin tucked, pelvic press. So I'm pressing the pelvis into the mat, and I lift my head, and I lower it back down. I lift my head straight off the mat, and I lower it back down. Lift and lower. Notice I'm not lifting my eyes up or my nose up. I'm only lifting the head straight up. My eyes are looking straight down at the mat. That's really important. And you may not go far, and that's okay. Only lift as far as feels safe for you. And I would like you to do 10 head lifts, nice and slow, starting with your forehead resting on your hands. Press your pelvis into the mat and lift your head. 1, and release. 2, release. 3, small movements are just fine. 4, building strength in your spine. 5, this is improving your posture. 6, helping to keep your head back on top of your shoulders. 7, 8, 9, last one, 10. Good job. Bring your hands by your shoulders. Push up to your hands and knees. We're going to come onto our backs now. So onto our backs, similar to what we did in part 1. We have the knees bent. We have the pelvis in neutral pelvis, so not all the way flat, not all the way arched, but halfway in between, and we're bracing gently here. We're going to have the arms extended, palms up. And for this first exercise, we're doing a shoulder press. So the back of my shoulders here, I'm imagining trying to press them into the floor, squeezing my wings together. You should have seen my chest rise a bit, and then relax. So both shoulders pressing back into the floor, the backs of the shoulders and the shoulder blades, squeezing the wings, lifting the heart, and then relax. So that is a shoulder press, and we want to work through 8 to 10 repetitions of this. Are you ready? Press. 1. Press. 2. So these are postural exercises. Press. We're doing spinal strengthening exercises. Relax. We're doing these because we know targeting the muscles along the spines are protective from fractures. Good. Press. Release. 2 more. Press. Release. Press. And release. Good job. All right. So also, as we did that, activating the muscles from the upper body, we're going to do the same activation from the lower body. So using the bracing the abdominal muscles as we extend the right leg out, toes up, heels pressing down. Now we're going to do a leg press. So the entire right leg is going to press down into the mat, feeling tension through the hamstring and the glute, maybe a little bit of the lower back. So press and relax. Press and relax. You get to determine how hard you press based on your comfort level. 3, relax. Press. 4, relax. Press. 5, relax. Press for 6 and relax. Great. Tighten through the middle body, brace through the core as you return that leg to its start position. Maintain that tension here as you extend the other leg out, toes up, pressing through the heel. And we're going to do the same thing. The entire left leg is going to press down. Press and relax. Press. 2. Press. 3, I know these seem simple. Press. 4, they're very effective, especially for beginners. Press. 5, press. 6, these are very, very effective. These are very evidence-based exercises to get us started on the right track so we can build that foundation and progress our strength from here. All right, next, let's create some tension in the middle body as we extend both legs long, pressing through the legs. Let's extend both arms overhead so we get a full body reach, a full body stretch. Take 2 breaths here. How often do we do this? You can hold it longer if you like. Again, let's bring the arms back first. Brace through the middle body as you bring one leg back at a time. Good. Let's take that right leg, grabbing underneath the thigh, and just give that right leg a gentle little hug into the chest. Now we're starting some mobility for that right hip. So giving that leg a little hug into the chest, not pulling forcefully, but working on making sure that hip has the movement that we need it to have. So if that feels tight, this is your sign you need to work on this. Okay, we'll release that leg back down. We're going to hug the left knee into the chest. Mobility in our joints is just as important as strength as we get older for maintaining our independence and doing the things, the everyday things we need to be able to do. Okay, release that leg. All right, make sure you roll onto your side as we come back up to our sitting position. All right, so that is part 2 of the exercise program on Brick House Bones Foundations. And as you do this, I really want you to work through that 4 times. Really get dialed in on the hip hinging technique. Really get focused on your squats and your pushes and your pulls. These are important. Your dynamic balance, add enough challenge so that you really feel like you're working hard on that balance. Do this at least 4 times before progressing to the part 3 exercise video, where we're going to start to add in more strengthening, some bicep curls, some tricep presses, some lunges, some different things, all with modifications for your level of ability so that we can get stronger and more confident in doing all the things that we need to do and that we love to do every single day. I'll see you next time.